Michael Jordan found a homeless man wearing his old jersey. What he did next brought the man to his knees. Downtown Charlotte was quiet that evening, the kind of quiet that settles in just after rush hour but before the nightlife wakes up. Michael Jordan walked alone, no entourage, no cameras, just his thoughts and the buzz of streetlights. He had left a late meeting at the Hornets facility, restless and needing air. He turned a corner near an alley he'd passed hundreds of times before, but this time, something made him stop. A man sat on flattened cardboard, leaning against the wall with a blanket wrapped around his legs. His shoes were worn through, and beside him was a grocery cart filled with scraps and half-used items. What caught Michael's eye wasn't the cart or the man's condition, it was the jersey. A tattered, faded Red Bulls jersey. Number 23. His number. Michael stepped closer. The man didn't look up at first. He was half asleep, arms crossed, mumbling something to himself. When he opened his eyes and saw who stood in front of him, he blinked twice. You're, the man stammered, struggling to sit up straighter. Yeah, Jordan said quietly. That's me. The man laughed a little, embarrassed. Didn't expect to meet you like this. Guess I look like hell. Michael shrugged. You've still got good taste in jerseys. The man looked down at it. Had this since I was 16. Won it in a street shootout. Beat a kid twice my size. Wouldn't let go of it even after the shelter told me to throw it away. What's your name? MJ asked. Reggie. Reggie Miles. Michael nodded. There was a pause. Not awkward. Just honest. He studied the man's face, grime-covered but strong-jawed, with tired eyes that had clearly seen too much. You play ball? Michael asked. Reggie gave a tired smile. I used to. A long time ago. Point guard. Everyone called me Little Jordan. I had handles, man. Played like my life depended on it. What happened? Reggie's smile faded. Life happened. Another pause. Michael pulled out a card from his wallet. No logo, just a name and a number. He held it out. Reggie hesitated before taking it. Be at the Spectrum Center tomorrow, Jordan said. Noon. Ask for me. Use that card. Reggie looked down at the card like it was a lottery ticket. You serious? Michael was already walking away. Don't be late. Reggie didn't sleep that night, not really. He lay on the ground, staring up at the stars between gaps in the buildings. He had seen a lot of strange things on the street, but this one shook him. A conversation with Michael Jordan? An invite? It had to be a joke, right? By morning, doubt crept in. He almost didn't go. But something inside him, maybe the same voice that made him hold onto that jersey, pushed him to stand up, wash his face at the gas station restroom, and walk to the Spectrum Center. Security didn't want to let him in at first. He looked like a man in the wrong place. But he handed them the card, and the tone shifted. One phone call, and a young staffer came running down the corridor to escort him in. They took him through a back entrance, down to the court. The lights above were off, just enough illumination to make the floor shine. Michael was there already, standing with a basketball under one arm. You made it, he said. I almost didn't. Michael tossed him the ball. Show me what you've got. Reggie caught it awkwardly. His hands were stiff. His legs weren't warm. He hadn't touched a real ball in years. But he took a few dribbles. They were shaky at first. Then smoother. He drove to the basket. The rim was unforgiving, but the movement was still there, somewhere under the rust. Michael watched silently. Reggie missed the shot but grabbed his own rebound and went up again, this time finishing with a left-hand bank. After a few minutes, he stopped, breathless. I'm not what I used to be, he said between gasps. Michael nodded. Neither am I. But we don't throw away legends because they get older. Reggie stared at him. This isn't a game tryout, Michael said. Not yet. I just wanted to know if you still had it in you. The fight. The hunger. I've got nothing left to lose. That's not true, Jordan said. You've still got your name. You've still got your story. And you've still got a shot. Reggie leaned over, hands on his knees. What's the catch? No catch. I'm not here to hand you a contract. But I can open a door. What you do with it? That's on you. Michael called over one of the trainers and handed him a note. Set him up with a locker. Give him gear. He gets court access at night, but he works during the day, cleaning, organizing, whatever's needed. No special treatment. The trainer looked at Reggie, unsure. He's not a charity case, Jordan said firmly. He's a man getting his second chance. Reggie's eyes welled up, but he blinked it away. I won't waste it. Michael patted his shoulder. Don't do it for me. Do it for the guy who used to wear that jersey like it meant something. Reggie looked down at his torn Bulls jersey, faded, but still hanging on. He nodded. And so it began. No cameras. No headlines. Just a man, a mop, a basketball, and a dream buried under years of failure, but not dead yet. Reggie showed up every day. He wasn't given keys, but someone always opened the door at 6 a.m. He mopped the floors, wiped benches, folded towels. He didn't complain. Every hour he cleaned bought him an hour on the court at night. That was the deal. The first week nearly broke him. His knees screamed. His back locked up. The first time he tried running full-court drills, he threw up in the trash can beside the water cooler. A couple of G-League prospects laughed. One even called him old head. Reggie didn't respond. He kept wiping his mouth. Then got back on the court. Coach Simmons, one of the assistant player development guys, noticed. He wasn't overly friendly, but he nodded at Reggie now and then. Sometimes he left cones out. Sometimes he tossed Reggie a towel and said, drills are the same, whether you're on contract or not. Reggie listened. He remembered the moves. He practiced. At night, when the court was his, he worked in silence. Crossovers. Layups. Free throws. His shot was crooked at first. He adjusted. He steadied his form. He stopped pretending he was 21 again and started playing like a man with no time left to waste. One night, he stayed too long. Jordan walked in unexpectedly. He stood on the sideline watching. Reggie didn't notice him at first. When he finally looked up, MJ said, "You're planting your foot too early on the pull-up. That's why it's short." Reggie adjusted. Swished the next shot. Jordan grinned. Better. The next day, MJ brought him into his office. No press. No big speech. "You've been showing up," Jordan said. "Now it's time to show out." Reggie didn't speak. "There's a charity scrimmage coming up. Hornets players, staff, local talent. It's for the crowd, for fun, but I want you on that court." "You sure?" "I want to see if you can handle the heat. Not just the gym. The eyes. The pressure." Reggie exhaled. "I'm not what I was." "Nobody is," MJ said. "But the real ones? They still show up when it counts." The following weeks were brutal. Simmons started pushing Reggie harder. He was in unofficial drills with the practice squad. He ran full-court sets with rookies half his age. He got elbowed, knocked down, called out. He got up every time. One night, after a tough scrimmage, Reggie sat in the locker room icing both knees. Simmons came in, tossed him a protein bar. "You've got heart," he said. "Heart doesn't win games." "No. But it makes people watch. And sometimes, that's enough." Reggie took a long pause. "I used to have a scholarship lined up. Coastal Carolina. Tore my ACL a week before the offer became official. Dad died the same year. I stopped hooping. Stopped everything. Simmons sat down. And now? I want to matter again. He didn't say it for sympathy. Just truth. The morning of the scrimmage arrived fast. Jordan didn't make any announcements. Just listed Reggie's name quietly on the team sheet. No press releases. No inspirational story. If Reggie was going to make noise, it would be with his play, not his past. The Spectrum Center filled with families, kids, fans. It was a light-hearted event. Music blasting. Mascots dancing. Nobody knew who Reggie Miles was. But when he stepped on the court in a new Hornets jersey, #23 again, but in teal and purple, the crowd turned to look. A few whispers. Was that a staff guy? A community player? Reggie stretched, bounced on his heels, tapped his chest twice. Nerves hit, but he swallowed them. The first few possessions were quiet. He passed more than he shot. Got into rhythm. Then came the moment. A young point guard tried to cross him. Reggie stripped the ball clean, fast break the other way. One-on-one, pulled up for a mid-range jumper. Net. Crowd reacted. Not wild yet, but curious now. Next play, Reggie cut backdoor, caught a dish, finished with a reverse. A few fans stood up. A camera turned his way. By halftime, he had 8 points, 4 assists, 2 steals. Jordan watched from a few rows back, arms folded. In the second half, it picked up. The DJ called it. Number 23's cooking out here. Reggie was in a zone now. He handled double teams, found open shooters, took contact on drives. One play, he got knocked down hard after a layup. Whistle. And one. He didn't flex. He just stood up and looked around like he belonged. Final seconds of the game. Tie score. Everyone knew the ball was going to him. A young defender tightened up. Reggie took the inbound, used a screen, crossed over, stepped back from the elbow, and released. The buzzer sounded. The ball sank through. The crowd exploded. He stood still as his teammates mobbed him. Kids shouted his name now. Reggie Miles. Jordan stayed seated, watching. No smile yet. Just watching. After the game, the PA guy invited Jordan to say a few words. He walked to center court, microphone in hand. You all know me, he started. But tonight ain't about me. He looked over at Reggie. 10 years ago, this man was homeless. Sleeping in an alley. Wearing a jersey with my name on it. That's not what caught my attention. It was the way he held onto that jersey like it meant something. Reggie lowered his head. This isn't a charity story, MJ said. This is about grit. About heart. About showing up when the world forgets you. He turned to Reggie, and for the first time, smiled. You earned this. Jordan handed him a framed Bulls jersey, his old one. But beside it, a brand new one, Reggie Miles, number 23, Charlotte Hornets. Signed by every player. Reggie didn't speak. He dropped to his knees. Hands shaking. Crowd roaring. 2 weeks after the scrimmage, Reggie stood in front of a small mirror in the Hornets facility locker room, tying the laces of his new sneakers. Clean. Uncreased. His name stitched on the inside. He touched the side of the jersey hanging in his locker, Miles. 23. He wasn't a Hornets player. Not officially. But Jordan had created a new role for him, community player mentor. It wasn't for show. Reggie now worked with youth outreach programs, trained rookies who needed grounding, and spoke to young players who thought stats were everything. But more than that, he had stability. He had purpose. He had a keycard now. And a paycheck. He rented a small apartment not far from the arena. Clean kitchen. Working shower. First time in years he could lock his own door. He called his sister, who hadn't heard from him in 6 years. They talked for 2 hours. She cried. So did he. The framed jersey MJ gave him hung in his living room. He didn't treat it like a trophy, he treated it like a reminder that anything worth having had to be fought for. The media eventually caught on. Someone leaked the footage of the scrimmage. ESPN ran a short segment. A few online sports shows called him a real-life redemption story. Some wanted interviews. Reggie said no to all of them. This ain't about the camera, he told Simmons. It's about the court. Jordan respected that. Quiet wins, quiet legacy. One morning, as Reggie was finishing drills with a group of kids at a city rec center, a boy, maybe 12, walked up shyly. Coach Miles? Reggie turned. The kid held out an old ball, covered in signatures. You think you could sign this too? My dad said what you did was real. Reggie blinked hard, nodded, and signed beneath a fading Kemba Walker autograph. The kid smiled. I want to be like you someday. Reggie knelt. Don't be like me, all right? Be better. He stood and walked off, chest tight. He wasn't used to being a role model. But he didn't run from it anymore. Back at the arena, Simmons caught him after practice. MJ wants to see you upstairs. Reggie wiped sweat from his forehead. Am I in trouble? Simmons grinned. Don't think so. He rode the elevator up. The door to Jordan's office was open. MJ stood by the window, looking out over the city. Nice view, Reggie said. Jordan nodded. You ever think how close you were to missing all this? Every day. Jordan turned. There's a kid in Raleigh. Rough background. Trouble at school. Good handle. Terrible attitude. Reminds me of someone. Reggie chuckled. Me? Exactly. I want you to go meet him. Take a weekend. Talk to him. Train him. Help him stay on the path. Reggie didn't hesitate. I'll do it. Jordan stepped closer. This isn't just about ball, Reggie. It's about what you represent now. You survived. You rebuilt. Not many do. Reggie took a breath. Then I better keep going. Jordan reached into a drawer and handed him a folded paper. Reggie opened it. It was a short contract, part-time player development consultant, expanded mentorship role, and an official travel budget for outreach. Reggie looked up. You serious? Jordan grinned. Dead serious. You're not just some comeback story. You're proof. Reggie signed it without a second thought. Months passed. Reggie traveled across North Carolina. He worked with kids in shelters, schools, and forgotten courts with bent rims and no nets. He wasn't famous, but in those neighborhoods, he became something more valuable, trusted. Everywhere he went, he wore one thing, the same Red Bulls jersey he had worn that first night, cleaned and repaired. Not as a statement, but as armor. A reminder of where he came from. One day, in a gym in a rough part of Fayetteville, Reggie ran a camp for 40 kids. A teenage girl crossed him hard during a drill and hit a 3 in his face. The room exploded in cheers. Reggie just laughed. You got me. That's what I want to see. A news crew tried to sneak in and film it. He stopped them at the door. This ain't for your reel, he said. This is for theirs. Back in Charlotte, Jordan invited him to a small dinner. Just staff, no press. During dessert, he raised a glass and said, We don't build statues for every great player. But we remember the ones who gave others a reason to stand up again. Everyone raised their glass to Reggie. Later that night, walking back to his car, Reggie stopped outside the same alley where he first met MJ. The cardboard was gone. The city had cleaned the area up. But the memory stayed. He stood there in silence for a while. Then pulled a marker from his coat and wrote on the wall, near the ground, small and discreet. Never forget where you fell. That's how you'll remember how to rise. He stepped back, took one last look, and walked into the night. No cameras. No spotlight. Just a man who got his shot, and never wasted it.